Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Lowery Moore Show. I'm so glad you guys have decided to spend this hour with me. You are going to be in for a treat. I have a phenomenal singer here, Lela JBird. When we get to that part of the show, trust me, you're in for a treat. But I wanted to just make sure that I showed a clip from last week in case you missed last week's episode. Shame on you if you did. But just to just to recap last week, don't forget that all of the episodes are on WLVS radio on a YouTube channel. So make sure you go and watch some of the previous shows. But I want you to check out this clip from last week's episode where I had an author Yonder here. We was talking about love, finances, career, and the things that you should be doing 40 and over. So here, check out this clip. So nowadays, you know, it's like you have to be extra careful. I already feel like there's a strain in dating because people just don't want to date. They would rather just hook up, and so
And there's no trust.
And there's right, exactly. So what do you think as far as relationships? What do you think we should be doing now when you're what are some do's and don'ts now for 40 and over? Because that's pretty much my target audience.
Exactly. So, for the do's and don'ts of 40 and over, my thought side of it is I'm not saying that you can't date on the internet. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I know people date online, but get to know the person. Get to really know the person. I mean, if you really get to know the person, you can find out if that's what you want to be with. I mean, and really, at this age, we're so savvy in our own self that I know who you are in the first half hour. I know who, if I want to be with you, I don't want to be with you. And as for men and women, and you got to learn to say the run factor. It's some telltale stories that go on right there. I was with, actually, can't say his name, I was with a friend of mine the other day, and he had been in a bad situation with a woman that really ended badly. And I asked him, were no signs there? He said about 2 years before she did something like that. I was like,
before when people call and tell me about a relationship, and I'm like, you knew that you knew that going, like, long before now.
You can't tell me that you ain't see nothing. He was like, this what happened 2 years before.
Yeah.
Why you wait 2 more years for this to go 5 times bad, and you realize that?
And a lot of times,
I think people like crazy love for some reason.
A lot of times I want to ask people the question, but I don't want to seem insensitive because I really do want to know, why do people wait so long to get out of bad situations? Because see, with me, I don't. Right. I guess I don't know if I act too quickly, but I'm not investing that much time and energy in a person, and it's too much already in 90 days. If the first 90 days
we done. Right.
I can't.
And then as you get older, I ain't got a time. I hope I'm here for another 30, 40 years, but if I'm not, I am not going to waste my time with you and your fool.
Because I remember I had a situation where I just felt like someone was calling me too much throughout the day. You know, what you doing? I don't know about you, but I have a job. But I have a job.
Right.
Monday through Friday. So I can't.
That's what I'm doing.
And depending on, what I'm doing, I can't.
I'm doing the government
Depending
work.
on what I'm doing, I can't, answer the phone. And so I was, if I didn't respond in a certain time frame during the workday, I was getting angry messages. And I'm like,
I'm doing the government's work. This who paying me. What you tripping for?
It's lunchtime, and I got an angry text, and you just text me at 9:30.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's done.
I'm like, okay,
it's so over.
He's crazy. So I hope you guys will go and check out the episode. Trust me, it was a great episode. Again, we were talking about love, career, and finances, especially for those of us that are 40 and over. Playtime should be over by now, but I get it. It takes a little longer for people to get things out of their system. So, but what I'm going to do now, because I want to make sure I have as much time as possible with our singer tonight, Lela JBird. So I'm going to give you just a little bit about her background, and then she's going to, we're going to have a nice conversation, and then you'll get to hear her sing live in the studio right here in Listen Vision, Georgia Avenue. So Lela JBird is a singer, songwriter, and entrepreneur from Washington, D.C., inspired by Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, and Marvin Gaye. Lela enjoyed actively singing in various choirs as a child. While in attendance at Howard University, right across the street, and UMUC, Lela commenced her search for purpose in life. She found purpose in Christ. Lela put faith in God's words and power, and the Lord gave Lela his blessing and support of her dream to be a musician. In turn, she vowed to glorify his name and to help introduce people to his eternal love through the gift he has given her. Lela JBird's passion is heightened sensitivity give her ability to emotionally connect with all people through her conscious lyrics and soulful melodies. So welcome.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good.
Okay, so we're just going to get right into the discussion because I'm sure people want to know who you are and how you started singing. So can you just let them know they know Howard University right across the street, Georgia Avenue. So just let them know something about yourself that maybe I didn't mention and just how you found your gift of song. How did you know that singing is what you wanted to do?
Okay. So I was good at a lot of different things. I've always been pretty capable of learning new things and getting better at them. But when I was at Howard in my third year, I was a chemistry major. I was on a pharmacy track.
Okay.
I was at the bus stop going to school, well, getting ready to go to class, and a Pepco valve underground blew up next to the bus stop. So I got all messed up, ended up having to withdraw from school completely, lost my scholarship.
So you were injured from? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was pretty bad.
Okay.
It was pretty bad. But so I lost my scholarship. Everything fell apart. I started having all these issues in school. I was always a straight A student. All of a sudden, I'm having issues with performance in school. So eventually, they tried to tell me, but I was hard-headed. They tried to tell me, you know what, you need to take a break from school. You need to heal. You need to rehab, whatever. I was like, man, I'm a chemistry major. What you talking about? I got to be in school.
Right.
I don't know. You tripping. So I still went to class, and within a year of the accident, I withdrew completely because I had all these issues that I had never had before. I never had anxiety in a bad way. I had anxiety. You get nervous as an important test or
Right.
your performance, but the anxiety I developed after the accident was like another level of it. I had PTSD, concussion,
Yeah, 'cause
and
for something like that, I'm sure it was traumatic.
yeah, it was pretty bad. It was definitely outside territory that I had never gone through before. But through that experience, it forced me to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. Like, okay, what are you going to do if being this super smart, brainiac person is not in the cards for you anymore? And one of the things that I was always into was music. But for whatever reason, I allowed myself not to believe that I had it in me to really go through whatever was necessary to make it happen. But through that time where I had all those issues, I became withdrawn. I had social anxiety. And through music, through drumming on the djembe drum, through writing, through singing, through church, through all of these musical elements, I was able to start to kind of heal.
Okay.
And through that experience, I came to the conclusion, I already loved music before, but I came to the conclusion through that experience that I don't have a passion for anything else like I have for music. To me, like, I love different things, but everything that's not music feels like a regular job. Like, it just feels like normal. I'll do it for a while, and then I'll just feel like, okay, what's next? But with music, I never get bored. I never get tired. I never want to call out. It's none of that with music. Music is just every day. I just want to get up and write and sing and do something pertaining to music. Like, it never ends. So with that, I started to kind of go to God, like, so I got this crazy idea, God. Like, look, I'm crazy. But do you think you might can help me with this? Because
Absolutely.
I don't know anybody. I'm not well connected. Most people don't even know I can sing. So how are we going to do this? I need your help, because if I don't get your help, then I know it's going to fail. I know already. But if I get your help, then I can build up the confidence to really go after it, because this would actually be easy for you.
Right.
So after having that kind of discussion with God, I had a few weird situations happen where I got confirmation that he was going to get behind me. And from that moment on, I was like, oh, it's on now.
Right, right.
It's on now.
But that's great, and I like hearing that story because you just never know. You never know what people are walking around with, and that's what I try to tell people. I met you at a women's Christian conference.
Shout out
and,
Sister Network.
And so I don't know if you remember, but I'm the one that broke out crying. Were you there Were you there the last day?
Yeah.
And we were talking about the house. We were describing the house.
Yes.
And so I got to talking about my mother and promised I won't cry tonight. And I started talking about my mother and how I said it looked like someone left in a hurry. You remember that?
I do. I remember it was a couple people, but I don't remember seeing you crying though.
Yeah, because they had to get up and come over there and get me together because you go through life and people just see who you are on the exterior. You know, you get up, you put your face on, you put your hair and your clothes on, you go to work and you handle your business, but people don't know just what it takes for you to hold it together. And so, in our experience, a traumatic incident, I got hit by a stray bullet in 2004. So, like you said, just the mental part of that, once the physical scars heal, it was the mental part that my kids knew 4th of July was out. Because like you said, with the PTSD, the loud noises I just would lose it. Yeah. And so people just didn't understand. So like you said, I withdrew. Yeah. So that's why I'm glad that you are, able to share your story because I'm sure there are a lot of people who have experienced something that they are walking around with, knowing that they got this gift inside of them, but they have to get past the traumatic experience. And I also like that you say that you wouldn't have had a conversation with God like, look, this is what I want to do. But one thing I have always learned is He wouldn't have given you that on the inside if He didn't already give you what you needed. And sometimes it just takes us a little longer to figure it out. So back to your singing. When did you know you had a voice though?
This is the funny part. I was not naturally gifted at all. Ask my brothers and sisters.
Everybody can't sing. I can't hum. I don't sing happy birthday to my children. I just don't want to embarrass them like that.
No, my family intentionally sings it as bad as possible every year. Like for my grandparents, we call them and we sing like horrid, purposefully.
Well, no, I would be doing my best, and I would be like, "Ooh, girl, just stick to poetry because you can't do that." So,
well, for me, when I was younger, I was not good at all. My brothers and sisters would tell you they were, Jonte, please be quiet. But over time, and that's how I learned that I had so much passion for it. Okay. Because I love music so much. I would listen and listen and listen and listen and practice and practice and practice and practice over and over, nonstop, all day, every day. Brothers and sisters, please, can you just please be quiet? No, I cannot. And eventually I started to tap into something. Over time, I started to develop a voice, and unfortunately, I have been dealing with I have the worst allergies known to man. I have the worst allergies. And allergies was something that was always hindering me from really stepping into the artist platform because I was always getting sick and losing my voice. And I had they're airborne allergies, not just food allergies. So a few years ago, I figured out how to start combating my allergies properly without a whole bunch of pharmaceuticals and narcotics, with natural remedies. And from that point forward, I started training, and my voice got back to where I felt like, okay, you got something there. And then it's been kind of even keel since then. I'm glad that I've finally figured out a way to tap into exactly what I need to do to vocally train and not constantly be on this up and down roller coaster with my allergies.
Okay. So when did you decide, or how did you decide that you wanted to sing in the genre that you sing in? You sing gospel music. So was it the conversation that you had with God after your accident, or just or was that something, were you raised in the church?
Okay. Yes, I was raised in the church. No, that's not what made me decide to be a gospel singer. My passion for music was more so hip hop, R&B, rhythm and blues, R&B, go-go, contemporary, modern, all different types of rhythmic sounds. Okay. All the different genres that involve a lot of rhythmic patterns. I was already into all of that, and before I rededicated my life to Christ, September 26, 2016. Okay. I was just doing music however it came to me. But after my conversation with God and through a couple different very odd experiences, I just found that he was so big and so important and so awesome. Like, how can you really find him? How can you go looking for God and find him, and then after that dedicate your life to something else? Like, he's just so awesome that how can you not sing for him? How can you not, whatever it is that you do, whatever your thing is, how can you find God and not incorporate him into that thing? Like, it just would make no sense. It's kind of like finding
your mic
oh,
over
sorry,
a little bit.
Oh, I'm too loud.
Because I'm looking in the I'm sorry everybody, but this is how we do. You know, we live, so it's what you see is what you get, because the mic was hiding your face.
Okay.
So there we go. Are we still close enough to the mic? Okay, so we're gonna, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't covering your beautiful face.
Thank you. Other side? Oh. Okay. Can I move? Okay. I guess I was just a little weak.
Like this? Okay. All right. Okay.
What were we saying?
We were talking about
how I ended up being a gospel
singer, right?
Okay. So, once I found him and decided I have to figure out how to incorporate him into my music, I didn't necessarily want to do it in the mode of typical gospel music. I didn't want to be the super churchy, gospel sounding. Mind you, great respect to those artists. Some of my favorite musicians do that type of music, like Fred Hammond, one of my favorites. But that just wasn't my style. That wasn't the natural me. Okay. And I wanted to do it my way.
Absolutely.
But artists like Molly Music kind of showed me that you can still do Christian gospel message and really do music in your form, in your natural form, the way you feel most comfortable. So that's kind of how it came together.
Okay, yeah, and that's just like one of my favorite gospel, well, two of my favorite, of course, Kirk Franklin. Kirk Franklin, for me, was one of the first gospel artists that showed me, like you said, that told me you can have a good time. Because I used to go to church. It's funny, I'm not going to shout out the church, but it's right up the street. And I lived with my grandmother for a few years, and we were in church like all day on Sunday. And everybody dreaded when the Bluebird choir sang, because the Bluebird sound like it's going to be your grandma and them singing. The youth choir was nice, but as soon as we saw the ladies marching in, we like, oh man, this is going to be a long service. But I remember hearing Kirk Franklin, and then, the stomp, and then, Salt did the rap part, and I'm like, oh,
for
okay.
real? Oh, so that's what we
can do that?
Right.
And so that showed me that you could still praise God in what they was back then was saying a non-traditional form, although my grandmother could not. She was like, oh no, that is just not how this is supposed to happen. And then, for me, the Mary came for me later on, who I love them. But I'm just glad that you did find your own way, because so many times people want to be who they can't be who they are because they want to fit into what they think is acceptable. And I think that those careers are just short-lived when you're not being true to yourself.
I agree.
And I always tell people, y'all know how I feel, when you're not being yourself, who you are or who you're trying to be are going to have a conflict at some point. And we're not sure who's going to win, and it can drive you crazy. I do, in my deepest heart, believe that that's what happened to some of our celebrities that died too soon.
Absolutely.
I think that who they really were and the music they wanted to do was in conflict with the image they were trying to uphold. So, so I definitely applaud you for that. So, we want to talk about your single that's coming out. You have a single that's coming. It's called Patience and Maturity.
And it's out now. It's on SoundCloud. It's on YouTube. Go find me.
Do we have the flyer for Patience? Her Patience and Maturity. Because I went on your SoundCloud today and listened to it. So congratulations. So is it available for download like on iTunes or?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I'm working on some clearance with Galimatius, the producer of the instrumental for the track.
Okay.
So for now, it's just going to be on SoundCloud and YouTube, and eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to get the clearance to put it on mass distribution platforms like Apple Music, Google Play, Tidal, etc., etc.
So what is that for anybody that's an aspiring artist? What type of clearance do you have to get to release your music?
Okay, so when you release music that is for sale, which means there is money involved.
Okay.
The producer and the singer is a separate financial situation.
Okay.
The instrumentalist gets paid for their contribution to the track. The singer gets paid for their contribution to the track. The writers get paid for their contribution to the track. So until the clearance is mapped out and signed by all parties involved, you can't distribute music for pay without getting all that cleared up, because then you end up going down. Let's say I did somehow, which isn't legally possible, but somehow I got it on Apple Music or whatever platform, and it blows up. They're gonna come back however long later and say, you owe us money. Like, that's our music that you used.
You mean the producer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna say, you've been making money off of this single. We didn't know anything about this. We made that instrumental. What?
Oh, okay.
How you gonna do us like that?
Okay.
So.
And I just like to always talk about the business side of when I have artists, because sometimes people don't realize what it takes to, produce music or write books or things like that, and you do have to make sure you're protecting yourself so you're not this multi-millionaire, and then here come the people like
right. One lawsuit and you could just
your career can be over before you even really get started.
Yep.
So but we're going to take a quick break, and we are going to come back so we can have a little more discussion about Lela JBird and just the song that she's going to sing for us this evening. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
This is the last take for the night. Understand that's kinda late, and I gotta get home to my son, 'cause he's so special to me. I mean, I gotta see him, I need to breathe him. That's my baby, don't call me crazy. I love the studio, but I love him more. Let me give you what I got. So I woke up in the morning feeling fresh to death. I'm so blessed. Yes, yes. I went to sleep stressed, woke up refreshed. I'm so blessed. Yeah, yes. Water in my face and everything is in its place. Peace of mind, even my grace. I'm so blessed. Yes, yes, yes. My grandma almost lived to see 92. I'm so blessed. Yes, 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 yes. My son was born healthy and beautiful. I'm so blessed. Yeah, yes. My mama's on my right side, daddy on my left. My son, father doing is absolute. I'm so blessed, 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 blessed. Yeah, yeah, yes. And I know what I know. And I know what I know. Trouble gon' happen, it's just the way it be. Ain't nothing coming easily in this life. Sometimes you gotta work and you gotta grow and it gotta hurt. I'm sure you know. Take a look around. Woke up this morning listening to this song. You're so blessed. Yes, yes. Gonna rock this joint all night long. You're so blessed. Yes. To be up in here with our hands up in the air, waving like we just don't care. We're so blessed, yes, yeah, yeah,
right, and we are back on the Lowery Moore Show with Lela JBird. She is a gospel singer from Washington, D.C. She is a phenomenal talent. I listened to her song on SoundCloud. Her song is called Patience and Maturity. Tell me what that song is about. Like, what is patience and maturity all about?
Okay, so Patience and Maturity is the first single off my upcoming mixtape, Under Construction. It's going to be followed by an original EP, Under Construction. This is the era of Under Construction.
Okay.
And specifically with Patience and Maturity, one of the issues I've struggled with most is having patience. Like, everybody has their thing that they struggle with, but one of my main issues has always been patience. You got to be patient. And through pressing into God, I really started to see myself become a lot more patient. Like, when I look at myself today and a couple years ago, it's like night and day. Like, stuff I would have been going off over, stuff I would have flipped out on, stuff I would have just gave up. Like, a lot of different areas I started to notice, like, like you're becoming a lot more patient, and it also showed my level of maturity growing. Just the way I handle conflict, the way I handle disappointment, the way I handle ups and downs of life. It shows a growth in maturity, and I was really proud of that, very proud, because for a long time I struggled with anger, for one thing. I struggle with frustration when things don't go the way I need them to go or want them to go or have worked hard for them to go.
Right.
But growing up and really learning more about God and embracing His qualities rather than just going with whatever I feel really led to me writing that song.
Okay. And I like I said, I had an opportunity to listen to the song and some of the lyrics, but we'll get more into the lyrics a little bit later because I want to make sure that they get to hear you sing. She'll give you a little sample of the song, and the song was actually recorded right here at Listen Vision.
It was indeed.
Awesome. See what we do here, Listen Vision? We're not just, here live. This is actually a recording studio. So if you are an artist, you want to check out the website, which is just listenvision.com. And if you want to check out what shows we have available every day of the week, you want to check out Listen Vision Live. Yeah, listenvisionlive.com. So make sure you go out and check that out. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna get you all ready to sing your song. I'm gonna move out the way. I'm gonna because I know you wanna be able to do your thing. So y'all, we're gonna let Lela JBird do her thing.
Okay. Am I too loud or too soft? Okay. 2-2. Okay. All right. So once again, my name is Lela JBird. I am officially under construction, counting down to the release of my first mixtape and original EP. This is a little bit of Patience and Maturity, the first single off the mixtape. He said he really cared for me, but he wouldn't wait. You said you were my girl, my homie, but you couldn't wait. Reflecting on my life, I know I made a mess with my mistakes. I can't be mad if you are mad with me. Broken promise, open heart. I was naive and ignorant, and yet you leave the door open for me. Now you got me wanting to wait. Oh, you give me patience, Lord, and maturity. maturity, maturity. Say you got me who wanted to wait. Oh, you give me patience, Lord. Maturity, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we gonna get situated back here. Y'all see why I love doing what I do? I love being able to showcase, you know, local talent, especially out of Washington D.C. That was great.
Thank you.
And also, I like for people to sing live because we're gonna play the full song a little bit later in the show. But I like for people to hear that the person it's just not just all studio. Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, but these days we got too many studio singers. Mm-hmm. It's not like back in the day where people would get on. I remember there was a time, not to change the subject, there was a time when, I don't know if you all knew that, there was a time when people could actually sing live on Soul Train. Mm. That was back when, I don't know why, I can't think of the name of the group right now, but the original Holy Ghost, the people that sing the Barcades, they were, they're playing music. But then I guess, when the time changed, they like, okay, well, he sounds good on the record, but maybe we might need to, So, but yeah, so that was great. So just give them a little bit about why you wrote those lyrics. Like, because in that song you said you were my girl, you said you were my homie. So what is...
Okay. So that specific part about females, I don't have a lot of friends.
Okay.
I love everyone. I get along well with most people, but I don't have a lot of people that I call my friend.
Okay.
Because
I can relate.
People are a little wild out here these days, It's hard to find trustworthy.
Extra.
Yeah.
People are real extra.
It's hard to find trustworthy, reliable people to call your friends. And you have to be really careful with the people that you do let into your circle, because the people you let in your circle could be sitting back jealous and envious of whatever blessings God has given you and plotting on how they can mess your life up. Mm-hmm. And you're sitting there trying to be a good friend. Mm-hmm. So I've had some really sad and unfortunate experiences as far as friendships go. So that's what that piece was like. That's what that part was about. And then on the flip side, I mentioned men. Right before I went into about the girls, I talked about how he said he really cared for me. So a lot of men, especially as a young Christian woman, when you start telling somebody that you could potentially want to date, I plan on waiting for marriage.
Right. Especially in this generation. Yeah.
As soon as you say that, they're like, "Ooh."
They like, "Oh, well, nah,
what time is it?" Ooh.
I'm
I
sorry.
think I hear my grandma calling. So they do a lot of that. And my thing is, you were all in my face, all on my line, talking the good talk. And then as soon as someone mentions something like that, if that's a deterrent for you, then you weren't being genuine, period. And there are a lot of men like that really just try to give you whatever it is that you want or say whatever it is you need to hear to get what it is that they really want. And then once they get that, they just gone.
Right. And I asked this question to a lot of men before, like how many men would really wait? Now they may wait for that person, but that's not to say they're not doing something
else in the meantime. That's real.
Yeah, and that's the chance you have to we have to take as women, especially if you do want to make sure that the relationship is solid.
That's real.
And it seems like it should be easier. It should.
But that's why we have God, though, because God don't play that. Like, God sees all of that. Mm-hmm. If you're being extra genuine and sincere to this guy, and this guy is just behind closed doors just dogging you, I truly believe in my heart that God is going to figure out a way to reveal that to you so that you know, he's not the one. Like,
absolutely. And it's funny because I may have shared this story once before. I got to share this brief story about that. I had met a guy And we had a really nice conversation, and we were, chatting back and forth, and, a month goes by. So now we just, we starting to go off for lunch and everything. So I get back to work, and we have this little instant messenger thing, the chat. So I sent this message to one of my friends about what I'm looking for. Like, what I'm really looking for at this point in my life. Send it to him by mistake. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But it was a blessing because he ended up being married. So in that communication, whatever I said, he felt like he needed to because he didn't have on a ring, so how would I know? So and he said, I need to tell you something. So a message that was meant for somebody else, I feel like it was intervened purposely.
Divine intervention.
Because had that content, like, how long would you have let that go on without telling me the truth?
Right.
So like you said, God will find.
He'll show
Sometimes we will ignore those signs.
That's true.
But I think that because we'll say, oh, well, maybe he's not happy in this. No, you're seeing this right now. Basically, like the clip I showed in the beginning, I think that we get clear signs and we just make the choice
I agree.
to deal with it. And then, we don't get out until it's like.
People don't pay. Well, for one thing, people don't pay attention. We get so wrapped up in our emotions and what we want that we are just not paying attention. It can be red flags just waving. Just
like, hey,
waving.
girl, I'm like, girl, you don't see me up.
Just waving, and you just so you like this.
Gotcha. I get red flags too.
And you
some
like
crazy
this.
women
He's
out
so
here.
cute. He just, like you have to make sure that you don't let your emotions make decisions for you.
I heard something one day. I watch a lot of romantic movies, and I listen to a lot of things, so I'm not sure where I heard it, but somewhere they said, yeah, especially for women, that we have to fall out of love with being in love for us to find love.
Oh my goodness!
And it wasn't those
so
words,
true.
but that's how I summarized it. We're so, we're looking for this relationship and this husband, and we have to fall out of that desire for to get what we really, really desire, what we deserve.
Right.
Because with that whole fluff and 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 I just sat there and I said, I think it was probably Hallmark, because I watched a lot of the Hallmark movies over the holidays, and a lot of people are we want to be in a relationship, and like you said, we will ignore signs just to say that we have someone.
Right. And it's funny that you brought that up, because one of the main things that I've learned about falling out of love with love to really figure out what you want and who you need is you have to find somebody whose flaws you can handle. That once you find somebody whose flaws you still love them regardless, that's when you know you got something serious. Because there's a whole lot of people that you could be infatuated with for a period of time, but I guarantee you there's not that many people who once all they dirty laundry is out, all they skeletons is out the closet, you see all of the flaws that they have, that you're still like, I still want to be with them. Once you find that, that's when I feel like you're on to something.
Yeah, and that's true, because we do have to overlook, especially what I call surface love. We gotta overlook that and really get to what sustains a relationship. And I don't think a lot of people really think that far ahead. We're so used to instant gratification. That's in the microwave. We want something instant. We want it now. We want what feels good now. But we're not thinking about, if something happened to me, who is going to have my best interest in mind? Who's going to be able to make those decisions for me? Right. And not just cut my switch off because I've been on the tube for 1 minute. Those are the real things. Like if something happened where I temporarily can't make a decision for myself, would you make a decision,
that's in my best interest.
In my best interest. And I think that when we can get to that part, I always say, think about the person that was there for you when you were at your lowest.
That's real.
I mean, crying, makeup gone, braids falling out. Because that's when you know who really has your back. And sometimes, unfortunately, by the time we realize that, we've messed up with that person because we're waiting on something else that we know that's not going to happen. So that's why I really do enjoy your song,
Thank you.
Patience and Maturity. And I want to be able to play the song so they can hear the full version, just to make sure that they can, just hear all of the lyrics, and then we'll we'll be back. So we're going to go to Patience and Maturity by Lela JBird.
Under construction.
Under construction. I like that title.
He said he really cared for me, but he wouldn't wait, he wouldn't wait, he wouldn't wait. You said you were my girl, my homie, but you couldn't wait, you couldn't wait, you couldn't wait. Reflecting on my life, I know I made a mess with my mistakes. I can't be mad if you are mad with me. Broken promise, open heart. I was naive and ignorant, and yet you leave the door open for me. Now you got me wanting to wait. Oh, you give me patience, Lord, and maturity, maturity, maturity. You say you got me wanting to wait. Oh, you give me patience, Lord, and maturity. Yeah. He said he really cared for me, but he wouldn't wait to wrong me. You said you were my girl, my homie, but you couldn't wait to go behind my back. I'd like to know. Wait, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't, no, I don't. I gave those thoughts away and let it be. Now you got me wanting to wait. Oh, you give me patience, Lord, and maturity, maturity, maturity. Say you got me wanting to wait. Oh, you give me patience, Lord, and maturity. If he has respect for you, he'll love you like the Lord will do. You should not compromise on this, I know. And when those people come against you, do not stop to entertain. The Lord above will handle everything. Now you got me wanting to wait. Oh, you give me patience, Lord, and maturity, maturity, maturity. Want to wait. You make me want to wait. You make me want to wait. You make me want to wait.
Okay, we are back at the Lowery Moore Show here with Lela JBird. It has been so awesome having you here. Thank you for singing live. I hope you guys enjoyed her song Patience and Maturity. Don't forget you can find it on SoundCloud. So just let them know how they can find out about you, more about your music, your social media. How can they find out more about it?
So you can find Patience and Maturity off of the Under Construction mixtape on SoundCloud and on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I have a SoundCloud page. You can find the song on both of those places. And then as far as me, just as an artist, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on LinkedIn. Yeah, all 4 of those. Lela JBird. Just search Lela JBird, and you should be able to find me on all social media, all 4 of those social media platforms. And like I said before, YouTube, SoundCloud for the single. And I will be updating and releasing more music very soon. So subscribe, like the page so that you can know what's going on, so you're not out the loop when the single comes out. Everybody's talking about you like, oh, she dropped another single.
Right, make sure y'all
subscribe so you can know these things.
So hopefully you'll come back. I feel like Don Cornelius when he says, so you'll be back later on in the show. Remember how he used to do that? Oh, am I dating myself with Don Cornelius? But no, anyway. So once you release more music or when your EP comes out, definitely reach out to me, and then that way we can let everybody here know what's going on. Any shout outs you want to do?
Yes.
Anybody that helped you out with this, just help you along your journey.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I would like to give a shout out to my business partner sitting over in the cut right there, Bryant. I see you out there. Thank you. Second, I have been training on the djembe drum under my drum master, Baba Ross D. He is when I say very, he is very well known in this area.
Okay.
Everywhere I go, I mention his name, and they're like, Baba Ross D. Oh! So I'm really honored and humbled that he, out of all the people he could have chosen to spend time developing, he's really taken me under the wing. I'll be performing with him in the morning.
Okay.
At Bloom Bars on 11th Street Northwest. If you have an infant or a toddler, you need to get in the house because
an infant or a toddler.
Baba Ross D does not play. Them toddlers be backflipping, jumping, partying, having it up.
Oh, that's nice.
And this is a good time. It's funny because I used to go to his shows. I don't have any kids.
Okay.
But I used to go to his shows because he just cranks. Like, he's just tight. So I would go in there, and everybody would have their kids, and they'd be looking at me like, where's your kid?
Baby at?
Be like, look, don't judge me. Baba cranks, okay? But yeah, he's awesome. 2 other shout-outs. 1, Mommy's TLC. I work for a nonprofit called Mommy's TLC. It stands for Mentors of Minorities in Education's Total Learning System. Founder Baba Aise Sabader. They're awesome. That
Isn't
whole
it right
family.
didn't you say
2 doors down.
That is crazy.
2 doors down.
That is crazy. Okay.
Yep. So they've been holding me down for the last year, and I've been growing and developing tremendously within that organization. So I had to make sure I gave them a shout out. Last but not least, of course, how would I go anywhere and not shout out my church?
Okay.
Edgewood Baptist Church.
Okay.
Shout out 3408 C Street Southeast. It's all good at the Wood.
Do you sing in the choir there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't even know why, but I didn't want to make that assumption. So yeah. Okay. So just give let's leave the audience with 3 tips for anybody, a young lady who may be struggling with faith or relationship issues or just wanting to be an artist. What are 3 things that you want to share to young women on how they can just move forward in life?
3 tips. Let God pick for you. Whatever it is. The job, the man, the house, what you gonna eat for breakfast. Whatever it is, let God choose it, and you can you can guarantee that you're going to be happy with the turnout above what you would have possibly chosen for yourself. Second thing, getting to the point where I started to pursue music, I went through a lot of ups and downs with, this industry isn't a good industry, it's not financially stable, it's not a guarantee, it's this going on, it's that going on. you have to make a choice at some point in your life, whether you're going to be happy for you or if you're going to be happy for other people. If your goal in life is to be happy for other people, listen to what everyone tells you.
Yeah.
Do what they think you should do. But if you really want to be happy in your own life, know when no one's there, mom, dad's gone, your brothers and sisters moved away, your homegirl done got married and left, and it's just you. If you want to be happy with your life, pursue what you are passionate about. I don't care if that's being a janitor. I don't care if that's drawing cartoons. I don't care what it is. Anybody can tell you, oh, this is not a good field to go into. You can say that about any field. The government just shut down not too long ago. The government job is supposed to be the most safe and secure thing you can get.
That's what
even that can. Even that.
Yeah.
Can get shut down.
Yeah, trust me.
So don't pick based on how much money you're going to make. Don't do it. Find something you're so passionate about that you're going to do it so well that it doesn't matter how much money people generally make in that field. You're going to do your thing.
Absolutely.
Last thing. Probably one of the most important things about life. Always get back up. I'm somebody who's really who's been a perfectionist, so to speak, for my whole life. And whenever I make a mistake, I could get a 98, and that 2%, man,
killing you,
blow me. But you can't let yourself get hung up on that stuff. You have to learn how to roll with the punches. You have to. You cannot get down on yourself. You cannot put yourself down. You cannot quit because things didn't go the way you wanted it to go. You have to always analyze what happened, take notes on what you need to learn, embrace what that lesson was, and keep going. Like, you cannot, all this, we're going to fall apart, we're going to give up, woe is me, I'm just going to go in the cut and never to be seen from or heard from again. No, we're not doing that. Dust yourself off, however you got to do it. Call your mom, call grandma, bring the Bible out, go to church, whatever you got to do it and get back as fast as you can into grind mode.
Right. You have to. So thank you so much again. That is the time for the Lowery Moore Show. And once again, thank you so much. And I look forward to having you on the show again.
Thank you.
And you guys, you know, what I love to leave you with each week is whatever you do, whatever you want to do in life, you know, you just have to get out and go get it. And with that, I want to just thank everybody for joining. And shout out to Jacob for holding me down again. So I'll see you guys next week.
It's like you're looking through a telescope. You see where you're gonna be.